Hello, so I'm here making another video for you. This is actually something that we're going to be learning in our upcoming unit. We did have this also in Unit 1, so students should be familiar with this, but this is definitely something that is our biggest struggle in class right now. So if you want to work on anything, I would probably suggest working on place value. So basically, place value is talking about looking at a number and identifying the hundreds place, the tens place, and the ones place. Now in second grade at this point in the year, all we are looking at is the tens and ones, so two-digit numbers, but it's always helpful to let students know that the hundreds place does exist because they will be working on this later on in the year, and a lot in third grade. We'll also be getting to the thousands, 10,000s, and the 100,000s. So making sure that you're working with your child at home, it might not be a bad thing to maybe work on the hundreds. So here in class, we have a place value chart that looks like this. And it's basically just a way for students to show their thinking with manipulatives. So when I'm talking about manipulatives, that's those math tools that we can hold in our hands during the day. So whenever we talk about 100, we're talking about a set of ones where there's 100. So we've got 10 across the top, 10 across the bottom. 10 times 10 is 100. This is 100. When we're talking about tens, we talk about these rods that have a straight line of 10. Now, students know these as they're tens, and they're also known as sticks. Whenever we talk about drawing sticks and stones, this is considered a stick, a 10. And then your ones are all of these little individual pieces of ones. If I were to put 10 of these together, it would resemble this piece of 10. So what we do is we kind of just practice identifying numbers, and this is just to help them break down, knowing that 23 isn't just 23. It can also be 10 plus 10 plus 3, or it can be 20 plus 3, or it can be 23 ones. So if I gave a student an example and wanted them to show me the number, let's say 32. 30 is your tens, because 10 times 3 is 30, or in second grade we say 10 plus 10 plus 10 is 30. They would know to take 3 tens, and they could even practice by skip counting. 10, 20, 30. And the number I think was 32. If not, we're going to make 32 now. So here's your 30, and now we need to think of how many ones we need to add for 32. We have 30, and we need to add 2 ones. So if we have the number 32 written down, we would know that it looks like this. We would know that this number can be split into tens, and it can be split into ones. So tens and ones, 3 tens, 2 ones. The biggest issue with students at this point in place value is they want to think of reading a number from left to right, just like they do reading in a book from left to right. If I have the number 32, they think, well, the number 1 comes first, 3 is the first number, so it's 3 ones and 2 tens. That does not work because this would be 2 tens is 20, and 3 ones is 3. That would be the number 23. So this is what we're trying to fix right now, understanding that you have to read the number backwards. It starts with ones, and then when you add another digit, it's tens. And then whenever you add another digit, it turns into the hundreds, and that is the number in the hundreds place. So this is the biggest thing right now, is just knowing the tens and then the ones. The ones are last, so you always have to start at the end of a number and work backwards. So if your child's having some trouble and difficulty doing this, they usually are able to show it with a picture. So if you asked a student to make the number, let's say 42, they would know, okay, I need 4 sticks, and I need 2 stones. You could ask them now, if they're looking at the chart, which digit is in the tens place. Hopefully your child will be able to look at this and see, oh, well, here's my sticks of 10, so the 4 must be in the tens place, and the 2 must be in the ones place. And they should know that it is 4, 2, 42, tens and ones. That's the biggest thing right now. So at home, even though you don't have these tools, there's an easy way that you can practice this with food that might get them a little bit more engaged. A good idea for these would be pretzel sticks, or if you're interested in candy, a packet of Skittles or a Kit Kat broken in half, but they would get a lot of candy at that point. So I would recommend using pretzel sticks for this. And then anything here for the ones, it could be Cheez-Its, it could be pieces of popcorn, just something smaller. Candy could be M&Ms, Skittles, Goldfish, anything that is small enough that they can put several of them in here to count them to make a number. So if you're interested in working at home, you could always do that, or you could just get on and search what's called base 10 blocks, and it'll probably give you a picture that you could print and just cut out for your child to practice with. So if you would like to go farther to help them understand with the hundreds, 100 is just a big square. So in class, we actually are going to call this a box. Boxes, sticks, and stones. So if you are interested, 200 would be 2 of these, 300 would be 3, and so on and so on. So the next thing I'm going to show you is just kind of some things that they will be seeing on their test that they're expected to do. So if they want to create their own chart for place value, they know that it's hundreds, then tens, then ones. If we just look at tens and ones, T-O spells the word two, not ought. It's not ones and tens, it's tens and then ones. Ones are last. Whenever they're forming a number, you could even make these small and say, okay, I want you to put the number 42. How many hundreds are in 42? 0. We don't need to worry about the hundreds place. And then they know 4, 2, 42, 4 tens, 2 ones. If I had the number 86, I would write 8, 6. There's no hundreds in 86. 8 tens, 6 ones. So whenever we ask students to take a look at this, we are also asking them to practice drawing their blocks. So if we want them to draw, we're talking about drawing these. Now, sometimes whenever students are drawing these, they try to do this, and they try to make the square, and then they add these, and then they end up getting like 12 or 13 lines. The way that I want them to draw is just a line and a little box, a stick and a stone. So for the number 41, they would need 4 sticks and 1 stone. Please do not let your child draw it like this, because if they have 12 boxes instead of 10, they're going to get it wrong. Stick to the single stick and the stone. If they're not very good at squares, circles are fine too, as long as I know that they're singles. So for the number 30, if your child is sitting here watching, I'll pause for a moment and let them get a little quick heads up on this before I draw them out, and they can check their work. Okay, so for the number 30, we are going to draw 3 tens and 0 ones. There are no ones. Whenever we count this, we get 10, 20, 30. That's all we need. If we counted 41, I'm going to get rid of that, sorry, we would get 10, 20, 30, 40, 41. For the number 8, we don't have any tens in the number 8. There's only 1 digit. So we don't need to draw any sticks. We just need to draw our 8 stones. The biggest thing with this is sometimes students lose track of their counting, and they draw their picture and then they move on without checking. So it's always important for any of these to make sure after you draw the picture that you practice counting by tens and then by ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It matches my number. 54. You have 5 tens, 4 ones. If I were to put 54 up top, it would be 5, 4, 54. 5 tens, 4 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's double check our work. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54. So hopefully that helps you understanding what we're talking about whenever we're talking about sticks and stones. And when we talk about drawing your number, drawing it using a picture, this is the picture that we want. And remember that if you want to practice with the hundreds chart up here, you're not going to have these at home. You can use pretzel sticks, Kit Kats, anything, French fries, and then down here, anything that can be ones, popcorn, Skittles, M&Ms, Goldfish, Cheez-Its, anything like that. Okay, now down here, so this word digit and this word value are things that your students should know by now, but some of them might still be struggling a little bit. So when we talk about a digit, we're just talking about a number. So if we take a look at the number 41, there are 2 digits or 2 numbers. One of the digits is 4, one of the digits is 1. So digit literally just means number. Now, the word value is still looking at the same two numbers, but when we talk about value, we're talking about what it's actually worth. So for example, in the number 41, the value of the 4 is not 4, it's 40. And the value of this 1 is 1. The kids are trying to sometimes forget that this 4 is not a 1. It's not 4 ones and then 1 1. That would be 5. This is 4 tens, also known as the number 40. So if I'm looking at the number 41 down here and I'm trying to break them into their values, the 4 is the digit in the tens place. And because it's in the tens place, its value is 40. The 1 is in the ones place. Its value is 1. So if I were to add together the two values, it would equal 41. So your child should be familiar with the expanded form. It's not on their test, but this is what we do every day for morning calendar. So if your child's able to get 40 plus 1 equals 41, they're going to know, oh, 40, that's tens, that's 4 tens, and 1, that's just a 1. So another thing that I like to tell my kids is whenever you say the word, you hear the value. If you read it slowly, you'll get 41, 41, 41. So if they can say it and hear it, they should know 41, 41. Now over here on their test, they are going to see a few things like this. They're going to say, they want you to write how many tens and how many ones are in each number. So the number 50. Some students say, oh, there's 50 tens. No, there's not 50 tens. How many tens would make 50? Well, let's count. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. There's 5 tens. The number 50 isn't in the tens place. The number 5 is in the tens place. So you're going to write 5 on the line. Now, there's not 50 ones. It could be 50 ones, but look at the digit in the ones place. The digit in the ones place is 0. So if we check our answer now, we could check it by either drawing a picture like above or just counting it out. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 0 ones. It matches 50. Now, down here on the next one, the number 6. Is there any tens in the number 6? No, we only have one digit. In order to have tens, you need to have 2 digits. If a student sees this, 0, 6, yeah, there's 0 tens. You still read this number as 6. So we don't have any tens, and we have 6 ones. Let's check it. 0 tens, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. Down below, 35. How many tens? Now remember, if your child gets mixed up, they might say that there's 5 tens, or they might say that there's 35 tens. We only want to look at the number in the tens place, which we remember is first because we have to look backwards. And so there are 3 tens, not 30. The value is 30, but there's only 3 tens. If I were to count by tens 30 times, I would get a number way bigger than 35. 10, 20, 30. And then in the ones place, because we know that the ones comes last, is 5. There should be 5 ones. Let's count and check. 10, 20, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. 35 matches 35. Making sure that your child is checking their work is going to help them, because if they write 5 tens and 3 ones and they double check, they're going to get 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 51, 52, 53. It does not match. So the next thing that I wanted to show you is that on your place value, the next thing that they're going to see, and the last thing actually that they're going to see, is they're going to see what number has, let's do 6 tens and 3 ones. There's going to be choices of A, B, C, and they're going to see 63, 36, or 603, something similar to that. Your child needs to be able to look at this and say, okay, 6 tens and 3 ones. Sorry, my light automatically turned on. 6 tens and 3 ones would be the number 63. So I hope that this has helped you. This is usually the most difficult thing on a test, is this place value. The students really seem to struggle with it. The biggest thing that you want to make sure that you're talking about is that the tens and the ones, you have to go backwards. The ones aren't first. Even though one comes first in a number, whenever we're counting, it goes backwards. The ones are last, then the tens, then the hundreds, then the thousands. If I'm adding numbers to my chart, this is the number 6, if I have 6. If I add a number 1 here, it becomes 16. If I add another 1 here, it becomes 116. And if I add 1,000, it becomes 1,116. So we're building on the numbers backwards. Every time that you add a digit, you're adding a place value. Alrighty, thank you so much for listening. I hope this helps. Bye.